So this morning we're going to create a little bit of space in the body, probably a little bit more than just in the body, at least that's what I hope. And when we look at how the yoga practice helps us to create space, there's generally two ways that we work. One is a principle called, well, depends who you talk with, but sometimes we're like rinsing and soaking. So we squeeze in and then we extend out, and we just continue to do that so we can hydrate the tissues. And then the other is circling, just to bring some space and movement to the joints. So, I thought that was appropriate right now, creating a little bit of room. One of my teachers recently just said everything is better with a little bit of space. And I've certainly found that to be true for myself. So with everything going on, and if you live here in this area, if you live anywhere in this country, if you live in this world, there's a lot going on. Giving ourselves a little bit of room to catch up with what's happening inside, all the reactivity, so important. So important. So I'm glad you're here. Let's come to child's pose, please. And good morning. All right, let's rest back. And let's extend the arms forward, bring the fingertips together. Just let the forehead rest on the mat. Early morning practice, relatively early morning for a Saturday. We feel into just the last week. And I'll bet that some events this week have stuck inside the body a little bit. And what I mean by that is that we'll have a reaction, and sometimes that reaction stays with us for a little while. And one of the great aspects of this practice is that we get to know our bodies such that we can begin to feel into where there may be holding or contraction or just general discomfort. So that's what we're doing right now, is taking the whole thing into account. What is here? What is here, and the good stuff too. Let the outside of the body soften a little bit, the skin all over the body soften, as if the pores were like listening devices. And then gradually rise up onto hands and knees. Let's tuck the toes under. And beginning with the pubic bone moving back toward the coccyx, let's inhale, open the front spine. And exhale, rounding, coccyx moves toward pubic bone. Let's do that a few times. Inhale. And exhale. Again. And then noticing quality of breath this morning. A couple more. Just let the head and neck hang in the cat. Good. Rounding, rounding, rounding. Good. And then returning to center. All right, let's take the right knee in a little bit toward midline. Take your left leg back behind you. Tuck your left toes under. Extend back through the fascia along the back of your left leg into your Achilles tendons and the feet. We gradually widen the breath, very gentle about it. And then bring the knee back down. Extend right leg back, tuck toes under, pushing back. Breathe across the upper back. Good. Right knee down. And then take your left leg back behind you. Right hand is in alignment with your right knee. Extend the left arm up. Grow a little space. So we're slow about growing the space. We don't need to rush. Just creeping our awareness. Creeping's not really a good word, but extending our awareness into the back foot and into the top hand. And then let's slowly release the left hand to the floor. Tuck your left toes under, send the right leg back, extending up, opening. And extending our sense of aliveness into the body. Yes, good. Inhale, exhale, slowly releasing down. Bring the knee to the floor. Yeah, we're alive and we have a body. This is good news. We tuck the toes under. Let's send the hips up and back behind us. Keep your knees bent. Stretch the soles of the feet. Press into your toes, the roots of the toes. And then draw the outer edges of your shoulder blades toward your sternum, like you're giving yourself a hug with your blades. And if there's confusion there, the opposite of that movement would be dropping the sternum toward the floor. And so the armpits are wide open, but what we want to do is become tubular here. You might even draw your hands in toward each other. Inhale. Exhale, let's step forward between the hands. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And fold over bent knees, please. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back. We'll retract the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift sternum forward. Exhale, folding. Arms go up first, and then maybe forward. Releasing head and neck, and feeling the feet root. And there we are, looking down at the feet, potentially at the big toe mounds, which are just underneath the big toes, and becoming aware of the outer edges of the heels, and seeing that there's this lift in the arches, natural lift. Some of us have flat feet. We might just prod with our eyeballs. Just look at the inner arches. See if you can find that lift. Good, like we're sucking energy from the ground. Inhale, exhale, releasing the arms. Now let's move the coccyx toward the pubic bone as we gradually rise up. Send the arms all the way up. Inhale, exhale, releasing the arms. I've been talking a lot lately about the relationship between the coccyx and the pubic bone, so you probably hear it today also. The coccyx is this extra tail off of the sacrum, right? I've been referring to it like a seahorse or a dragon tail, lizard tail. So that moving pubic bone toward coccyx and coccyx toward pubic bone, we're looking for where center is in the body. And that is the mechanic. Those are the mechanics that we'll be working with today. But we'll take it up, translate it up into the hips now and into the shoulders as well. So standing in mountain pose, let's draw the big toe mounds down and the outer edges of the heels down. Let's separate the finger toes wide apart. Keep your hands relaxed if that's possible. Spread the toes. And then just touch the big toes down. Just the big toes. Just the pinky toes now. Big toes and pinky toes. See if that's an option. Any day now. This is one I'm really working on right now. Good. And then even try to take the big toes and the pinky toes off. Just set the other three down. Is that even remotely possible? Raise your hand if you can do it. Okay, now set all the toes down. Wonderful. Let's draw the palms together at the heart. Close the eyes. Feel the rooting of the feet. Careful not to lock anything. Steady flow through the body. Let the shoulders draw down as the spine lengthens. The back of the head and neck moves back. We set ourselves up like a mountain. Here we are. What do mountains do? They're present for storms, aren't they? Present, rooted, steady. Let's begin with the Gayatri mantra. Join me if you wish. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonat Prachodayat. Okay, so at the top of the mat, we inhale, send the arms all the way up. Exhale, let's fold forward, out, and down. Notice pubic bone moves back toward coccyx. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, palms down. Step back to plank pose. Let's all pause and plank for a moment. Push back through your heels a lot. Wake up your legs. Hug the bones with your muscles. Good. And then protract your shoulder blades, which means pulling them apart. So you'll see there's a little bit of rounding up the upper back. If you need to bring the knees to the floor, please do. Pulling them apart. Noticing where your head is in relation to the rest of your body. It's very easy to dip the head here. Inhale. Exhale, knees down. The whole body comes to the floor. We turn the toes back. Point the toes. See if you can get all 10 toes to make contact with the ground. Then pull the mat. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, slowly lower. Again, inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. Take your arms back behind you now, palms face up. Inhale, lift the chest, any amount. Exhale, lower. Then lift the legs off the ground. Spread your toes wide, spread your fingers wide. Inhale, lift the chest. Pause here. Take a few breaths, waking up the body. Inhaling, exhale, slowly lower. Draw the navel to the spine, the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes under, sweep the hips back behind you, and then downward facing dog. Walking it out a little bit, we make the legs a bit malleable. Smooth, even breath. Hips shift left to right. Noticing anything sticky in there. Directing the breath to the sticky bits. Settling in. Again, wrap the outer edges of the shoulders around as if that were possible. Lift the hips up and back. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. And as we fold here, separate your feet about hip width apart. Grasp the elbows, hang. Hang completely so your neck is relaxed. And then find your coccyx with your mind's eye. Tip, tip, tip of the tailbone. And feel how it's drawing toward the pubic bone just a little bit. The pelvic floor lifts slightly. The breath spreads across the upper back. Good. And then from here, the coccyx moves toward the pubic bone and we gradually rise up one vertebrae at a time. It's just a really nice way to come up, especially if those of you who have lower back issues. Draw your attention downward for that movement upward. Let's do it again, please. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, step back. Take a breath here. Good. Drawing the heels back. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower or knees and torso down. Inhale, over the toes if possible. Upward dog or cobra. Exhale, back over the toes if possible. Downward dog. So we've been working on this also, this business of coming over the toes. See if you can do it. Come right over the toes. If the knees come to the ground, that's okay. We won't be here long. And then back over. Do that a couple of times. You may be going 1 foot at a time, which is often the case as we get used to this action. And then settle back. Good. Steady the body. Dog is another form of mountain. Watching the breath. Inhaling. Exhale, bend the knees, look past the hands, step or float forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, fold. Head and neck release. Inhale, push the ground away, rising all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, releasing the arms. Bend the knees, please. Fingertips graze the floor. Inhale, chair. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step or float back, lower through. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back, downward dog. From here, we pivot the left heel in, and we draw the right thigh toward the rib cage. Right foot lands. Root back through your back heel. Now wake up, big toe mound, outer edge of right heel. That translates, if we push, that translates back into the hip. Feel the back foot root, and then slowly rise up. You can do that with coccyx moving toward tailbone. Then sweep arms up and sink. Be sure that your stance is long enough. Warrior one. So what we'll do is with the warrior one, let's interlace the fingers and turn the palms up. Can you feel how that retracts the shoulder blades, draws them together? And it gives us a chance to take the breath high up into top chest and the armpit chest area, where there's often breath congestion. Good, keep drawing big toe mound of the right foot, outer edge of the right heel. Press to draw the outer edge of your right hip back. Yes, we inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground. Right leg back, lower through, or knees and torso down. Then inhale, opening. And exhale back. Downward dog. Steady for a moment. Watching the breath. Drawing the pelvis up and back. Every time we come back to downward dog, we're looking to make a little more space in the spine. Where can the pelvis go? How rooted can we be between hands and feet? Now, pivot right heel. Left thigh forward, foot lands lightly. Find the back foot. Find the ball of your left foot, the outer edge of your left heel. Root, translate it up into the hip. Coccyx curls toward pubic bone. Okay, good. Then go back to this front leg, drawing in, rooting back, extend the arms. Same idea now. We're drawing in the legs, but we're opening out in the upper body. Now take the breath, aerate. So when we're in contraction mode, or this kind of folding inward, which is very common when we're working with sadness or grief or worry, this area collapses. So we want to go back in there, don't we? Check in. Inhale. Exhale, slowly, hands down, leg back. Inhale. Exhale, lower the way you do. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale over the toes. And then back to steady. So we notice the big toe mounds. We notice the outer edges of the heels.
You guys with high arches, you might be noticing the pinky toe mounds and the inner edges of the heels. Let's balance the feet, which balances the hips. Then draw the outer edges of the shoulder blades around the front. Unless you're really rounded, and if you're rounded in your upper back, bend your knees, send the hips back, open up the armpits. Okay, we inhale. Exhale, knees do bend, look past the hands and step or float forward. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale now, chair pose. Bend the knees. Exhale, release. Pause, rest in mountain pose. So knowing our own patterns becomes really essential, doesn't it? The patterns of our body. Some of us tend to turn the knees in. Some of us tend to be externally rotated. Some of us tend to round. Some of us tend to stand open. So to come to center, we've got to know what our own proclivities are and then adjust accordingly. So we're not trying to fit into some shape that we're given, but we're learning enough about the mechanics to know what to do. You can see I naturally turn my knees in. So my work is to draw outer thighs in a little bit, adduct so I can get longer here, because if I don't do that, I will naturally stand like this. Or if I'm feeling a little low, I might draw the heart back and stand like this. And I bet many of us know these two patterns. We're looking for middle, okay? All right, middle way. Middle way, find middle in your own body. Notice your tendency. Do you turn out? Do you turn in? Do you turn out up here? Do you turn in? And then adjust accordingly. One way we can adjust is by drawing the inner thighs in toward each other. Notice what that does. Sometimes we take the outer edges of the thighs outward, away from each other. Adduct, abduct. Notice what that does. Then inhale, arms extend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, palms down, step or float back, lower down the way you do. Inhale, open the front. Exhale, back over the toes. Notice here, if left to your own devices, would the chest sink? Or would the back round? If the back rounds, bend the knees. If the chest sinks, become tubular. Draw the outer edges of the blades in. Sweep the right leg up and back. Go ahead, stack the hips. Now, some of us, when we stack, we take the right hip up, the chest naturally kind of drops to the floor. See if you can keep that sense of being tubular here by wrapping the shoulder blades. Bend the right knee. Keep your left knee lifted. Begin to make circles. Circling, and we're looking for the outer edge of the circle here. We may feel like we want to collapse. We're just taking care of the hip. Okay, that's it. So inhale, lengthen the right leg up. Exhale, thigh to rib cage. Foot lands nearly between the hands. Pivot your left heel to the ground. Gradually rise. All right, so from here, look down. Right kneecap is in alignment with the right foot. Plant to your right big toe mound down. Send the arms out. Check pelvis. Pelvis is neutral. Good. Inhale. Exhale, reaching forward. Spinning this left thigh in a little bit. Hand comes naturally down. Good. Maybe we begin to turn the rib cage open slightly. Draw the shoulder blades away from the ear. Notice the difference. It's subtle between drawing the inner thighs in toward each other here and then moving that thighs away from each other just a little bit.
When you draw them forward toward each other, do you feel how the sternum draws forward and you lose the mountain? You lose the mountain pose. So see if you can find mountain in your triangle. Head looks up or down and very light. If it's possible, take the bottom hand off the ankle. Good, bend the right knee, take your right hand to pinky toe side, left leg extends up, left arm beside left leg. Opening the hips. Tubular nature in the torso, left arm extends up, reach through the top of the head. Imagine the outer thighs drawing away from each other here. But if you've overshot, imagine the outer thighs moving in toward each other. Notice the difference between stability moving in and extension moving out. Inhale, exhale, lightly land your back foot. Good, let's slowly rise up, turn, pivot, take the hands to the ground, take your left leg back, lower through. Inhale, exhale back over the toes. Pause and steady. Good, moving towards center. So the ways we move without awareness versus the ways we move with awareness certainly impacts the body, but same true with the mind, yes? With awareness, sometimes we may shift the first impulse that comes up. We may not act on that first impulse. We may notice the first impulse and then make a change. So we take left leg up now. Stacking, bending, circling. If you can notice your shoulder girdles at the same time, please do. The shoulders still turn down evenly as we explore the space with the left knee. Noticing where it's easy to come in and where not so much. One more time around. Inhale, lifting up. Send left leg up. Come up onto the ball of the foot. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage. Foot nearly between the hands. Right heel pivots, and we rise up. Check your pelvis. It's even. Heel, heel, or heel arch alignment. Knee forward. Good. Now from here, draw the thighs in toward each other as you come forward, reaching. Notice what happens when the thighs come forward in the reach toward each other, and then come up for a second. Now take the thighs outward away from each other. Just pushing like you've got a strap wrapped around the thighs, and see if that gives you more space. Then come in. And then choose the one that helps you to feel centered in your body. Remembering that we're not extending the rib cage open. We draw in a little bit. If we're honest, which we are, every day it's a little bit different in the body. That's why paying attention is important. What's it like today? How can I make a little bit more space for my body? Couple more breaths. Rib cage begins to open up, maybe. Good. Feel big toe mound on left side. Press. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Look down. Left hand, pinky toe side. Right leg extends. Build it from the ground up. Lengthening. Get tubular. Right arm extends, perhaps. Imagine thighs, outer edges of thighs moving away from each other. And then imagine outer edges of thighs draw in toward each other, almost like there's a block that the legs are trying to squeeze. And notice the subtle difference in the pelvis. And find
a place to dwell in the center that feels balanced. We inhale, exhale, lightly land your foot. Good, slowly we rise. Turn the toes out, the heels in. Press through the balls of your feet and the outer edges of the feet. One is common, this kind of turning in and this rounding. But sometimes what people do is they pop out through the chest here. So see if you can get the four corners of the feet settled. Drop the energy downward. Feel your pelvis. Is it even possible to get a neutral pelvis here? Take the arms out. Notice the difference between coccyx moving toward pubic bone, it's teeny, and pubic bone moving toward coccyx. So what are our own tendencies? Do we overshoot? Do we round? Drawing down, find the middle. Okay, we inhale, exhale, hands to the ground, right leg back, lower through or meet in downward dog. Feel the tail of the coccyx move toward your heels. Let's all inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale, exhale, and one more. And just gradually lengthening the space that we have available to us in the breath. Now we do sweep the right leg up and back again. This time the hips are square. Then thigh comes to rib cage. Foot lands nearly between the hands. Back heel pivots and we rise. We might have a block nearby. So from here, building big toe mounds. Outer edges of heels. Good. Hypermobile, pull forward slightly. Pretend you do have a strap around your outer thighs, as if you could pull that strap apart. Abduction. Pull, pull, pull on your way down. See if that doesn't provide a little more space for the sacrum. At some point, left hand will land on inside or outside a foot, or you'll have a block. From here, keep that action of big toe mounds, outer edges of heels, and draw the thighs away from each other as you begin then to take your right hand to your sacrum and turn rib cage to the right. And just let the hinges at the sacrum move freely as you twist. You can go back and forth here, feeling how the right femur bone moves in toward the midline a little. And then grow the front spine without overshooting. Maybe right arm extends if you've got the shoulders stacked. Down, look down at your left shoulder. Notice if it's lurched like a vulture up around your left ear. Draw it down. And push big toe mound of right foot into the ground a lot. Translate that back into the right outer hip. And then slowly we release. Let's take the hand or the block forward. Diagonal. Back leg comes off. Hand goes back to the sacrum. Push through your feet. Find your mountain. Perhaps have a conversation with the sternum. Sternum begins to move to the right. Don't lose the back leg in the process. Imagine squeezing your outer thighs together here. Feel what that's like. And then imagine making space. So you've got a strap around the upper thighs and you're pulling the strap away. See if that doesn't make a little more room for the sacrum. And then maybe the right arm extends. Good, then slowly release. Left foot to the ground. You might bring the block with you. Place it back down. If you wish to take a vinyasa, do. And we all arrive. Constantly arriving. Recenter. Notice lower body and upper body. Do they feel even? Left and right sides of the body, do they feel even? The answer may be no, but at least we noticed, right? Now we'll take left leg up and back. Hips are square. Inhale. Exhale, thigh to rib cage. Foot lands. Right heel pivots, we rise. Hands to hips. Notice the tendency of your pelvis. Do you dump or do you curl? Find the middle. Okay, so remember the strap. Wrap the strap around the outer thighs, the imaginary strap. Pull it away from one another. Left hand to sacrum, right arm extends. Inhale, exhale. Go slow enough so that you can feel that you're pulling the strap away. So the strap's going out like that in our mind. And we slowly bring the hand down to the block or to the floor. Keep that extension. Don't lose your big toe mound on your left foot. Then grow your spine. Sit bones draw back. Maybe right hand to outside of foot. Maybe to the block. Good, now we turn. And remember, we did this on the other side where we just let the pelvis move naturally. Try that a few times. It's like oiling the hip joints. Good, then go ahead, turn. Drawing rib cage probably to hip bones. Sending up. Freeing shoulders. Now from here, feel how the strap is pulling the legs apart. Then see if you can draw the inner thighs in toward each other like you do have a block between your inner thighs. Notice what that does. And then pull apart the strap at the same time and pull in at the same time. It's like a corkscrew. Inhale, exhale, look down. Hand or block out in front of you. Right leg comes off. Push your feet into the floor, both real floor and invisible floor. Can you square? Then as you turn, it's okay if the right hip draws down a little bit. Turn the rib cage. You've got an egg cup image here. The top of the egg cup is the rib cage. The bottom of the egg cup is the pelvis. Turning, turning, turning. Don't lose your back root. Back root of the back heel. Inhale, exhale, slowly right foot down, landing, rising back up. Let's take the feet about 3.5 feet, 4 feet, legs distance apart. Hands come to the hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward. And watch how the pubic bone is now moving toward the coccyx, and the coccyx is moving away. Land the hands. Inhale, lengthening. Coccyx moves toward pubic bone. Exhale, fold forward. Head and neck relaxes. Shoulder blades climb up the back. Big toe mound and outer heels press. Translate that all the way up into the hips. Breathe across the upper back. Let the head and neck just hang. Emptying, emptying, emptying. Full-time job. And feel the spaciousness of the breath in the body. How just with an inhale we can expand. And then we exhale. In the inhale we expand a little more.
And we exhale. Wonderful. Let's inhale, lengthening. Exhale. From here, let's interlace the fingers. Now we'll retract the shoulder blades, draw them together. Inhale, exhale, folding, keeping them together, drawing the crown of the head toward the floor, reaching the arms upward and maybe forward. Notice pubic bone to coccyx relationship here. If the knees have turned in, what can you do? You can move your coccyx toward your pubic bone a little bit. Some of you will have bent knees. Have it be delicious here. This moment, in this moment, we declare deliciousness. Then we release the arms. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, palms come forward. Right leg goes back. Take a vinyasa if you wish. And drawing back to downward dog. We settle in for a moment to that Tadasana mountain shape. Noticing for ourselves, what do we need to do to recalibrate so that we feel somewhere in the middle, centered. Gradually draw the knees to the floor and the forehead to the floor. Pause in child's pose. Notice the body now. What do we feel? Then slowly rise back up onto hands and knees. Send your left leg back behind you so the sole is down on the ground. Let's take the left arm up. And from here, some of you might lift the right knee off the floor because you've pressed the sole of the foot in so much. Some of you might take the right leg back behind you and open out. And stretch from the soles of both feet, pressing. Opening the front, releasing neck and head. It's growing a little bit. And then gradually hand down, knee down, left knee in, right leg back, right arm up, pausing where we need to pause. Left knee might come off for some of us. Left foot might extend, the whole leg might extend, soles down, shoulder blade down. Extend and open. Head and neck soft, strong body. And we release. Good, let's slide the legs out in front of us. Coming to Dandasana, the mountain of seated postures. So here we go again. Never ending story. Could be this. Could be this. Find the middle. The middle might not be found without a prop underneath the sit bones, especially for those of us who go like this. So there's a downward moving energy in the body and an upward moving energy in the body. This is the upward. You can feel it, right? Wheel. This is the downward. Drawing down. Here's my laptop computer. Like that. Where's the middle? Good. Or knees are bent to find the middle. Then belly down. Slowly, slowly folding forward. You can feel how the pubic bone and the coccyx, they attempt to move in toward each other. It's subtle. And we release. Stretch the breath across the upper back. And slowly we rise up. Good. Let's bring the right knee in. Roll the knee out to the side. Press the sole of the foot into the inner thigh. Turn like we were in revolve triangle. Fold forward toward the outside of the left foot. Ball of this foot presses. Outer heel presses. Right hip bone presses. And we lower. We may not come down very far to keep the length. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, right leg long. Left foot draws in. Turn. Might use the hands. Try not to if you can help it, just to strengthen the legs. Root left sit bone. Outer edge of right heel, ball of right foot, turning. Inhale, exhale, down we come. Go slow enough to feel these mechanics. I'm hoping that they are interesting to you, because what they will do is they will allow for us to find more space in our postures over time. It's like nuts and bolts. Here you can imagine the strap wrapped around the thighs, pull apart, see what that's like, and then imagine the block between the thighs, squeeze in, see what that's like. Which one seems to give you a little bit more space? Then root down the sit bone, feel the coccyx move toward the pubic bone on the way up. Exhale, left leg long. Okay, so let's scoot forward, take the arms out in front of us. Gradually we roll down onto our back. We take it slow. We feel the seahorse tail winding, winding, winding. Keep winding. There's a point where we'll want to give way. Keep that wind, and then we release, coming onto the back. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees go wide. Pause here, slide the shoulder blades down. Relax the body. So knowing our patterns is really helpful, physical patterns. If you come to my classes, you know knowing our mental and emotional patterns is also really helpful. So we can begin to find center again when we are somewhere we prefer not to be. One way to find center is by closing the eyes, feeling into the body. Just noticing the body's tendencies. Does it feel like we can relax here? Do we feel any holding? And then if we find some holding, make room for it. I see you, in a kind way. Befriending all the parts of ourselves, especially the unlovable parts, the conceivably unlovable parts, the parts that we are still working to accept in ourselves. And then take the hands to the outside of the thighs, draw the legs in. Good, let's take the legs long now. Flex your feet, widen your toes. Interlace the fingers behind the head, draw the thumbs down. Keep the lumbar spine on the ground, would you please? And slowly lower the right leg. Lumbar spine stays down the whole time. Inhale, coming back up slowly. Exhale, slowly. Like we're walking through space. Although this is a weird way to walk through space. Slowly down. Back up. exhale down slowly, a little bit of Ujjayi breath, subtle contraction at the glottis. We inhale back up. See how slow you can take the legs. Taking our sweet time, the slower we go, the more present we become. This is why some of us prefer not to go slow, because we might find something there to be with. A couple more. The good news is that whatever we find, we can be with, inside and outside. It doesn't mean we have to like it. It doesn't mean that we necessarily approve of it, but it still means that we're able to be with it in a kind way. Let's take both legs halfway down now, and then inhale, come back up. Kindness and truth are not mutually exclusive. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, back up. Exhale. And then back up. Exhale, lower the feet toward the floor. All right, take your legs now to the left, look to the right. And then come back up, legs move now to the right and look to the left. And this time, inhale, bring the legs back up, move to the left with the legs, and then will you take your head and your arms, so your right elbow is trying to come to the right heel. And now we're really opening the front body. And then exhale, take your legs to the right, and see if you can bring the arms and the head, the whole upper back, toward the heel. Inhale, come back. Let's do that again. Legs to the left, push into the ground, lift upper back, right elbow, right heel. There's a bow pose quality to this. And once again, all the way around. And then we return. Let the head relax, the arms beside, soles of the feet go wide. Pause and feel. Let's watch the breath move in and out of the body. And watch how it does it really on its own. That we are here being breathed for the relatively short time that we are here. Having these very human experiences, yeah? So many of them surprising. And we open our eyes and our hearts to these experiences as they unfold. Can we do that? Where do we close down? Where do we notice that we close down or shut away or run or fight? Okay, we bring the hands to the outside thighs. The feet are parallel with each other. The hands come under the shoulders. Now, we could be taking bridge, in which case we'll keep the arms beside us. Yeah, retract the shoulder blades, draw them in, rising up. It's an interesting idea to retract the shoulder blades and then see if you can take the shoulder blades away from each other, like they've got a little strap around them and you're pulling them away. And notice the difference between what happens here.
Notice the legs now too. Does the coccyx move toward the pubic bone, or does the pubic bone move toward the coccyx? Can we find the middle? And imagine you have a block between the thighs. Squeeze the block in, or imagine you have a strap around the outer thighs. Pull out. What gives you more room? There just isn't one way, right? Now, maybe going on, hands to under shoulders, onto the top of the head we go, up we go, opening. And you can feel here that if you retract your shoulders, your armpits are wide open, very pranic, very open. And then if you draw the outer edges of the shoulders in toward each other, then it doesn't feel so much like a back bend anymore. It feels like you've curled the coccyx toward the pubic bone. Now find the middle for you. The art of finding one center. Some of you might take the legs long in both the bridge and in the wheel. Whole back body is strong, front body soft. We inhale, exhale, slowly, slowly, down we come. Soles of the feet, knees wide apart, arms beside us, pause, rest. Rest the brain. Feel in. Find the center of you. See if you can move your awareness to the center of you. Heart and mind in partnership. Very important, this partnership between the two. Good chance that with our proclivities, some of us are all heart, not utilizing the mind the way we could. Others are all mind. A little afraid of the heart, usually. Can we live in a balanced state and access both when we need to? Just check in, see what it's like. If you tend to hang out upstairs, move downward. If you tend to live downstairs, move upward. Literally changing our orientation to life by moving our own awareness in our own body. Take some practice. Very exciting though. One more please, bridge or wheel. If you're taking bridge this time, try retracting shoulder blades, pressing triceps into the ground. Feel that block at the inner thighs first. Squeeze. Move right foot toward midline. Keep that squeeze. Lift left leg up, imagining the squeeze the whole time. Otherwise, hands under the shoulders. Up we go to wheel. Find the middle way. Some of you might walk the feet in just a little bit. Feel the block between the thighs. If I were there, I would be able to assist you with your legs, because some of us turn the toes out, so we want the feet parallel. Right foot moves in, left leg might extend up. Left foot comes back down, right leg might extend up the whole time. There's a midline, drawing to midline. And then we all find our way back down. I hope you bridge people took both sides with your legs. Once again, we open out like we're a vase or a bowl. And try to then draw your awareness down to the middle of the body and feel the space that the breath has made. So let's hang with this space for a moment. Sometimes when we think of space, we think of nothingness. Actually, let's think of it as potential, because it is in the space where the potential for creation lies. So when we do this work around creating spaciousness, well, it's very exciting because something can be born in us that is something other than the same old pattern. This is why awareness and spaciousness is so important. Releasing the legs long if you like. Let's come into Shavasana.
Let the body completely relax. The palms face up. Contact the space in your whole body. Feel from the top of the head to the soles of the feet and into the hands. You might be star-shaped. How long is it before a thought comes and takes you away? And since one of the patterns that most of us human beings have is the tendency to be hard on ourselves, this is why kindness in the practice is so important. It's puppy training. Thought comes, we notice it, it's okay, and then we redirect back to being open, wide open. In that space, we can hang in that space long enough. We can begin then to cultivate the seeds of what would be useful for us right now. How can we create a little remedy for ourselves? Trust, faith, courage, kindness, forgiveness, perseverance, all have qualities like going into the spice cabinet. You don't want to use too many spices. We need to focus here. But choose a word that happens to be a seed of experience and see if you can hang in it. So above all, especially in the yoga practice, the first tenet, nonviolence, translated sometimes to compassion or kindness, we can all begin there. So I have a poem for you. It goes like this. I've been reading it this week. I think we could read this every day. Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your whole voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread.
Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. So let's wrap a cloak of kindness and wish everyone in the whole world well. Noting the valuable distinction in this practice between the two great tenets, nonviolence and truth. It's a balance. It's like the coccyx and the pubic bone. It's not one or the other. It's both. Let's draw one knee at a time into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs. Give ourselves a hug. Send one arm up, rolling to the side. And we gradually rise. We come up to a comfortable seat. Drawing the palms together. Feeling the length of the spine. And even here and everywhere, finding center physically so that we can become more subtle about it. Finding it emotionally, mentally. Remembering our two good friends. The truth. Justice is related to the truth, isn't it? And nonviolence, kindness. And carrying them with us wherever we go. Let's close the practice with one Om. We inhale, exhale, inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady and present and joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Okay, so to another day. May everyone be happy and healthy and free from suffering. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you next week. You know, you can visit Breathe Together. I've got a lot of stuff I'm doing right now. I'm loving teaching. I appreciate you all so much. And I believe the one thing to note is that those of you who are studio folks, we are going to do Halloween out in the front yard. And there are only so many spaces available, and I think that information is up now. So if you know you'd like to join us, I would love to see you. See you. Can you imagine? See you in a mask, in a costume. Okay, take care.